What's going on, guys? It's Lorcana Bro with an updated Amber Steel deck tag. Saturday, April 13th was an exciting day for multiple reasons. Most importantly, it was my Corgi Luffy's first birthday. But also, I top 16 the Taya BC 10K, which has been the largest prize pool Lorcana tournament to date with just about 400 players. In deciding what deck to play, I had to honor Luffy's birthday by playing the colors that most represent the color of his fur. Amber Steel. Amber Steel also boasts a really nice matchup into Red Purple, which I anticipated to be the most represented deck in the tournament. This metagame call worked out really well for me as I ran into Red Purple 4 times in the Swiss and went 7-1 against that matchup. Here's a quick breakdown of my Swiss matches and the results of each match. Overall in the Swiss, I had a record of 14-4, putting me in 4th place after the 9 Swiss rounds. Now before we get into the top 16 cut, I want to spend some time going over our general game plan and key cards in each of these matchups. Green Steel discard. I played Green Steel one time in the tournament and went 2-0 against it. Against Green Steel, it's ideal to have Cinderella Ballroom Sensation and Storm Rage on in your opening hand to be able to banish their Captain Hook, Curse Merfolk, or Flynn Rider without discarding a card. After clearing these early threats, the absolute scariest threat in their deck is Ursula, Deceiver of All. Ursula is a powerful singing threat that can sing removal spells to clear our board and shut down our character development before we're able to snowball. She can also sing to discard our hand and stop our critical mass. Our answers to Ursula are either bare necessities their hand after they've played the Ursula to tag a song they're about to double sing, or to remove it by sequencing turn 1 Cinderella, turn 2 Smee, turn 3 any character into sing Strength of a Raging Fire. Additionally, in the matchup, having access to powerful 5-cost songs can really mess with their strategy, as Whole New World can sometimes invalidate their discard plan, and Grab Your Sword can sweep a large portion of their threat base. A very problematic card in the matchup is Ursula Deceiver. In addition to being able to tag removal out of our hand to protect their characters, Ursula can snipe a Whole New World, which can completely shut down our strategy. For this reason, it's important to mulligan into cards that will give you some staying power in the match if your Whole New World gets taken, such as Ariel and Rapunzel. If you are on the play, you can keep an aggressive start with turn 2 Shift Queen into sing a Whole New World, and sing it before they even have the opportunity to play the Ursula. In this situation, it would be okay to keep a very aggressive hand, as they would never have the opportunity to Ursula you. Overall, I think this matchup is close, but from my personal experience, I would say Amber Steel is a slight favorite. Red Purple. I played Red Purple 4 times in the tournament and went 7-1 against the archetype. Red Purple is one of our best matchups and is the primary reason I selected the deck for the tournament. Our general plan is to develop our board with any of our ideal shift lines or Ariel. From here, we can stifle their board development with our removal pieces and continue to keep the gas flowing with a Whole New World. As they approach 7 ink, we can either use bare necessities to clear the Be Prepared from their hand, or drop Sleepy's Flute to provide the additional reach to close out the game after our character pressure is swept away. With no item destruction in red or purple, Sleepy's Flute represents an unanswerable threat that can typically provide the additional lore necessary to close out the game. Overall, from my experience, I have found this matchup to be very favorable for Amber Steel. Blue Steel. I played Blue Steel 2 times in the tournament and had a record of 3-1. When approaching this matchup, our general game plan doesn't really change, but there are some specific cards we want to look out for from the Blue Steel player. Fishbone Quill enables our opponent to generate a significant ink advantage over us, which disincentivizes us from singing a Whole New World, as we essentially gas our opponent back up after they have already dumped their hand. On top of this, they now have more ink to deploy the threats in their new hand much more efficiently. We have a couple of ways to address this. We can use bare necessities to discard the quill before it's played. We can use Benja to banish it after it has been played. Or we can allow our opponent to aggressively ink away their hand to the quill and then use bare necessities to discard their Whole New World to shut down their card velocity. Cogsworth is another extremely powerful threat that shuts down our damage-based removal, buying them time to develop their large threats and take over the game. Our only answer to this card is to shift Cinderella Stouthearted, sing a song, and then use Cinderella to attack their ready Cogsworth. The final big punch from Blue Steel that can really pack a wallop against us is a Set 1 classic, Tinkerbell plus Grab Your Swords. This combination is a 1-2 punch capable of clearing almost our entire board. Our only real way to break this up is to either wheel away their grab your swords or to tag it with the bare necessities. Overall, I think this matchup is pretty close, with blue steel being a slight favorite, but ultimately depends on our ability to address the 3 scenarios we just discussed. Green purple. I played green purple once in the tournament and had a record of 0-2. Generally, I find this to be one of our most favorable matchups, but in the tournament my opponent was able to play, bounce, and replay Ursula Deceiver to completely shred my entire hand. In this matchup, our ideal start will involve singing a Storm Rage on turn 2 either through Cinderella or through a Shifted Queen. Shifting Queen can also open up access to an early Grab Your Sword, which can devastate their early board development. Similar to the green steel matchup, Ursula Deceiver is a very powerful threat against us. Our deck is so song heavy that it will almost always hit. As a result, Ariel and Rapunzel are important cards in the matchup to ensure consistent card draw after our songs get discarded. Ursula Deceiver of All is a similarly powerful threat, but not as scary as in the green steel shell, as they don't have access to the steel song package. However, she can still sing powerful songs to either discard our hand or draw additional cards. Another nuance to this matchup is that we need to be careful with the timing of our whole new worlds. Green-purple aggro consists of cheap and powerful threats, and as such our opponent can also efficiently develop their board when given a new hand. That doesn't mean we should never use a whole new world, but we need to be more cautious about the timing of the card. Overall, I think this matchup is favorable for us, but can come down to how many Ursula Deceivers they draw, and also how many Let the Storm Rage Ons we draw. Red-blue. I played red-blue once in the Swiss rounds of this tournament and went 2-0 against it. Despite this record, I do believe this deck to be our worst matchup. Similarly to blue steel, Fishbone Quill and One Jump Ahead allows them to generate an extremely fast inkwell advantage, which can allow them to benefit from a whole new world far more than it would for us. To make matters even worse, the power level of the red threats they're ramping to can completely devastate our board position. In this matchup, developing characters in the early turns of the game are absolutely vital. Addressing the Fishbone Quill with Benja or Bare Necessities can slow down their ink development, which can buy you additional time to generate an early lore lead with your characters. From here, we're hoping to be as aggressive as possible to maximize the lore we can get before they have access to Be Prepared. Given their vast suite of red removal, losing board control in this matchup is almost an inevitability. That's where the flutes come in. Ideally in this matchup, you will have generated enough lore with your characters prior to the Be Prepared to finish off the game with flutes, as the chances of additional characters staying in play in the late game is slim to none. Overall, I think this matchup is really tough, but having access to flute can give you a much better chance. This segues us nicely into the top 16, as I face the big bad daddy himself, Red Blue Popsicle. Being the higher seed, I had the advantage of being on the play for the best of 3. Without giving too much away, let's get into the match. But as always, if you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe, as that really helps the channel. Alright guys, we are playing in the Taya BC 10K. We're going first against Red Blue. We have a pretty nice opener. We don't have a whole new world, but we have a 1, 2, 3, and a 4, so we're just gonna actually just keep this Robin Hood as ink and go. I do want to keep this. The Storm Rage on is not particularly good in this matchup, but I can use it to enable my Rapunzel to draw cards in case we don't draw the whole new world. So it's just a hedge. Benja. There's only 2 of them in my deck, and I have it here in my opening hand, which is a really nice card against Red Blue. So I'd really like to draw more inkables so I don't have to ink any of these cards. Okay, that's really nice ink for us. I am weary of 2-drop queen, so I'm not going to quest here out of respect for that. This is a top 16, so the pace of play is going to be a little bit slower for both of us. Just because we want to make the right play. There's a lot of money on the line. Okay, so here I'm actually just going to play the aerial because I'd rather Benja their fishbone quill. We found a whole new world. So that's a great one. And now, I think I'm still going to pass the turn. Basically, my thoughts here is I can quest here, and if they Queen of Hearts, that means they're not fishbone quilling. Which puts them down pretty significantly. I think that's actually worth the 1 lore. Because then we can also just attack back with Aerial and draw 2 cards. But us revealing the whole new world also puts a lot of pressure on them to Fishbone Quill here, because they want to max. From their perspective, I could wheel as early as next turn, and I might. If they go Fishbone Quill, I'll Benja, ink my Rapunzel, sing Whole New World, and just be off to the races. Alright, there is the Fishbone Quill, which we didn't expect. Okay, a good card, but definitely not relevant right now since we plant a whole new world. So I'm just going to go ahead and ink these bare necessities. Whole new world here, and we did find another whole new world, which is always great to see. So we'll just play this Robin Hood, which enables us to shift and play our Sleepy's Flute and whole new world again. Here, I think the best thing I can do is Maui, banishing our Ariel. We didn't hit any Mauis. Okay, that's a Queen of Hearts. Okay, so they really didn't have much there. So we're definitely going to shift. Play a Flute. I could just attack So the thing is, I don't have to whole new world this turn because they're not at B prep, and I mean they could Tremaine, but they could Tremaine in their next hand too. So I think we're actually just going to clear this Queen of Hearts. Well, I'd love to sing a song and gain 2 lore though. Yep. So that's what we're going to do. Just going to sing a Grab Your Swords. Because I'm trading 1 lore for 2, and it does keep the Robin Hood clean. And I don't think there's a way they'll be able to clear both Robin Hood and Ariel, so we'll definitely be able to sing the Whole New World next turn. Probably a Madame Medusa here. Yep. Okay. So we are going into the Be Prepared turn. So I think I'm just going to hard cast, clearing the Medusa. Inking here. Sing another Whole New World. We did hit a Be Prepared. And we found another Whole New World. So we can just play this, and if they Be Prepared, I mean, we're basically forcing them to be prepared, and if they do, we can follow up just with like songs and Ariel. We did hit 2 Tremaines as well, and 3 Medusas. Okay, so it doesn't look like they have Be Prepared, which means I think we win the game. Because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so we don't win. Oh, we do have the shift, so I think we do win. So now it's 6. Sure. And we'll hit the Maui. And we're going to take game 1. Really incredible draw. Wheeling into wheeling into wheeling. We found some nice flutes. On the draw, it's going to be really tough for us. We do have the Queen shift. And honestly, not much else. So I think we're just going to go for a hard mulligan into a Whole New World. We could keep this flute, but I just really want more looks at the Whole New World. We need it. Or Benja. Okay, so we didn't find it. We did find some Storm Rage on, so maybe we can get some draw out of this Rapunzel. Really not our ideal start, though. Okay, so gonna ink the Strength since we already have 2 removal pieces and lead out on Queen to open ourselves up to the turn 2 shift. Okay, 1 jump ahead, really nice start for them. So here I could shift Queen and gain 2 lore. I think I'd actually prefer to just get this Smee down on turn 2. And Quest, I know this blocks. They can now Queen of Hearts and attack the Queen. But having multiple Smees into Rapunzel is also just a really nice line to go down. And they are going to Fishbone Quill, so once again, taxing them on the turn that they're going to Fishbone Quill. Okay, we did find a Whole New World. I don't know if I want to do it on this turn where they have only 3 cards left and a Fishbone Quill. I think we're just going to ink Rapunzel. Play another Smee. And Quest. And I don't think I quest here because now I do want to sing the whole new world next turn. So they could be prepared us if they ink Fishbone, be prepared. Then they have one card left. Okay, so they're going to Gaston. We're pretty much priced into a whole new world here, which is really rough since we don't have the answer to that Fishbone Quill. But our hand's pretty mid. We need to gas back up and hope that we can come back from this game. Okay, inking Tamatoa. Oh, that's really not what we're wanting to see. Would have loved an inkable there. Here we're just gonna have to sing the whole new world and abandon all three. They had a really stacked hand. We found another whole new world. We're definitely questing. And then I think I'm going to... We didn't hit any be prepared. We hit one Scar. So here's the thing. I can ink. I think we definitely ink a Cinderella, and I can play 2 1-drops, or I can just play this flute and go to 8. Playing the 1-drops really forces them to be prepared, which means next turn we'll be forced to hard cast Whole New World. Well, next turn we would just play the Queen and Flute. But if we don't play the 1-drops, they might just be able to develop their board further. Like if they just attack the Queen, play Tamatoa, or a Scar would be very brutal. You know what? I'm just gonna go with this flute line, and it's not a play I'm very confident with, but we didn't hit a be prepared, so it's very likely to me that they have one in their hand, and I just don't want to extend over into it. Monstrous Dragon here would be pretty rough for us as well. Okay, Maui. I'm assuming they're going to attack this Mr. Smee. Oh, they're going to clear both of my things. Healing the Gaston here is pretty smart. I think we are just going to triple 1-drop now. Not a great position for us, but we do have an 8 lore lead, so maybe we can try and find a way to squeak across the finish line. I think they're thinking about cashing in this popsicle to heal the Maui. Thinking about inking a card. Okay, this definitely makes things interesting because now I can shift the next turn, but then I don't think we ink anything. I think we just play all of these out, and then we can shift Whole New World. And if they banish my Robin Hood, I can just ink it next turn in Whole New World. Thing is, if they have a card like Madame Medusa, for example, we have 3 shifters on the board. They don't know what the correct one is to shoot with the Medusa. I mean, they might be able to like use math. Like, there's 1 queen down already, so statistically, Robin Hood. Like, I'm not playing 4 Cinderellas in my deck, right? 4 big Cinderellas. They have my deck list. There's 1 queen down, there's 4 Robin Hoods alive, so mathematically they might be able to deduce that statistically Robin Hood is the most likely one for them to shoot down. But we'll see what they decide. They're going to 10. That's a bit scary. Gaston. Once again, we're in this position where we have to just gas them up when they don't really have that many cards in their hand, but we're kind of forced to. McDuck Manor's really strong threat here. I think we're just going to ink this, and the plan, unfortunately for us, is still the same. We're going to shift. Seeing the Whole New World. They lost 2 really nice cards. Would have loved to see a flute here, I think. Bit of a tough spot for us. I think we are going to clear this Gaston. And go to 11. I know we could have looked at their hand for like a Be Prepared. We still haven't hit any, but a Be Prepared, it's not that great for them. Our boards are pretty equal. And I think I need to focus more on aggression here. Next turn, I'll probably play Ariel and Benja just to be as efficient as possible with my ink, but we'll see what they do on their turn. I might be forced to Along Came Zeus something. Oh, double Maui is pretty brutal here. Is this a triple Maui? This looks like another Maui is coming down. Or a Medusa Tremaine. Yeah, it's a Medusa or Tremaine. A lot of questing pressure on their side. I think we do just have to play Benja and Ariel this turn. But it looks like this one's gotten away from us. alternatively, we can play Along Came Zeus, but then we have no other follow-up except for the bare necessities. I mean, that's pretty easy ink here. I guess we can start with Ariel. Okay, we failed to find. I don't think the order is going to be relevant in this game. Just go ahead and hit this Fishbone Quill, and they can go to 15, which is terrifying. There's not much we can do, though. Okay, this has definitely gotten away from us. We can't clear all of these characters. So if we clear that Gaston, they're still at +6. So we have to clear 2 characters, and we currently cannot. I mean, now we can, but we have to sacrifice everything. Basically have to hardcast the Zeus here, and attack, and it's just not winning. It's not something we're going to be able to come back from. We can't gain 8 lore in a turn, so I'm just going to go ahead and concede this one. Alright, game 3, do have Smee, Ariel. I don't think we can keep... Well, we definitely can't keep all these uninkables. We do have Smee and Ariel. I hate to shuffle away these flutes. They're an integral part of our game plan. But we're keeping 1 uninkable already. I don't really like the idea of keeping more. I think maybe I can keep 1, but I think I'd rather just hit like a nice 1-drop. Wow. Really, really rough here for us, guys. I think we're just going to have to... So, right, I don't even have ink, 2 inks. Like, what if I draw inkable, what do? Do I play Smee and hope to draw another inkable for the Ariel the next turn? I think that's the only way we win this game. So we're definitely inking this. I think we just have to play the Smee and hope to rip ink, and if we don't, we lose the game. But I don't think holding this to ink to Ariel is going to win us the game. I know it's a conservative line. Okay, we did. Thank goodness. We still get to play on. Okay, we're not even going to take this card because we're about to Whole New World. If it was an inkable song, I would definitely take it just to guarantee my ink next turn. Here, I don't think the order is going to matter. They could Fishbone Quill into Queen of Hearts to trade with the Smee. That would be a pretty nice line. Okay, they're just going to Queen of Hearts to trade with the Smee. And maybe play a second Queen of Hearts. Oh my gosh, worst possible draw. Okay, we actually did hit another our 4th Whole New World at the very least. So we can, I think, just go ahead, ink this. play both of these. That was like a really nice wheel because now if we draw ink, we can double shift and sing another Whole New World next turn. And that will be our final Whole New World because look at our opening draw. But hopefully it will be enough to squeak us across this finish line. Yes, Maui. Maui makes sense. We didn't hit the ink. So we can actually... The Robin Hood would trade though. So I think we just ink this Robin Hood, shift the Queen, and Whole New World and keep going. Unfortunate that we couldn't double shift, but... And the reason I'm shifting the Queen instead of the Robin Hood is to play around Madame Medusa. And also, the Maui could... Well, actually, the Maui would just trade with both of them. We did draw a shift here. So we could shift and gain 3 lore. That opens ourselves up to Medusa, and they've lost only 1. I could just go wide with Ariel. Could go doubly wide with Mr. Smee and the Queen. I actually like that the best. And I don't think we quest here. Right, we're out of Whole New World, so this is our hand that we're gonna have to settle into. And no more, haven't drawn any more flutes, so like we're gonna have to win primarily with characters. I think this is gonna be tough for us to squeak across this finish line. I think I'm just gonna pass here. Okay, there's a trade. Probably a Medusa here. Shooting Mr. Smee, I'm guessing. We do really have to be worried about Be Prepared. It's definitely coming. But we've just got to gain some lore. So we're gonna shift. Oh no, my recording thing got off center. And we're just gonna gain this lore. Like we pretty much have to. There's one Be Prepared down. So we'll just see if they have another. Okay, it's not a Be Prepared. So the Ariel is going to stick around at the very least. Okay, that's a good draw. I think we just hard cast this on the Dusa. Okay. Now the question is, well, let's gain our lore. The question is, do we go to 9 and just trade with the Hades? I think the answer is yes. And I think we also play double threat of Queen and Cinderella, so we've got to ink this. Like, we're really just trying to squeak out some incremental lore. Here, it's going to be really tough. But this will give us potentially another 3 to 12. Yeah, I just don't see us getting there without any more Whole New Worlds. Like, really unfortunate draw to have 3 Whole New Worlds in our opening hand. Yep, so we will have to sacrifice the Cinderella here. So, how many Tremaines? 2 Tremaines are down, so they're out of Tremaines. It's open deck list, so I do have their list. They have 2 Tremaines and 3 Medusas, so they're got 1 more Dusa left and 2 more Be Prepareds. I think we just continue to go wide, 5, 6, 7, 8. Basically, this will trade with either character they want to move in with. And if they do have that final Be Prepared, that's going to suck, but... yeah, we haven't sang a song, but I always like to check just in case I forget. Okay, so they have the Be Prepared, and now they're deciding to use it. Yep. So we overextended. Just the way that they were playing it didn't look like they had it. Maybe I was only supposed to play 1 more threat, but that still doesn't put me in a great position. I feel like by jamming, the way that they had played their previous turns didn't make it look like they had to be prepared, since they Hades one of my characters, giving me 2 ink rather than just wiping the board. But I guess they found it. Here, we don't really have much of a choice. We're just going to play our characters, and it's pretty much game over for us. Like, our draw really... that's not what I meant to do. It really just pooped on us. Like, you guys saw the mulligan. It was like 1, 2, 3, 4 uninkables into draw this right before we're about to wheel. Our wheel was incredible. That almost made up for it, but it just wasn't good enough for us. I'm trying to think what's my best possible draw here. Probably Ariel. Rapunzel is pretty mid, but we do get to draw a card off of it and gain a lore. And then I think we just save that for next turn. Like, I would really need them to have absolutely nothing here for me to be in this. Like, I need them to not banish my Rapunzel so I can go to 15. Maybe draw Sleepy's Flute, sing the song, go to 17. And even then, it's going to be tough since they can quest for so much every turn. That's kind of what we're looking at, though. It looks like they're probably going to have a monstrous dragon here. Oh no, they're just untapping and, okay, attacking. There's no more Tremaines. They could have one final Dusa. Okay, it's a Gaston. So, I think it's draw Flute, sing Storm Rage on, draw third Flute, quest for 2, so that would piece 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and then draw Song. Okay, that didn't happen. So we'll just go ahead, put this 2 on Gaston. And yeah, that's gonna do it. We could go to 18, so it would have to be now another Storm Rage on, which there's only 2 of left, into Flute. Assuming they can't just kill us this turn. Oh, they can. GG's. That's going to be it for today, everyone. We weren't able to take down the Blue-Red Menace. But for those of you who made it this far, thanks so much for watching. Keep questing, and I'll see you next time.